Hi, I'm Pat. I am the CEO and co-founder of Teak, and we're enabling app developers to build word-of-mouth advertising right into their product. Let me tell you why that's important. I want you to put yourselves in the shoes of a mobile app developer, because those shoes are walking around in a $25 billion market this year. And that market is projected to grow to $75 billion in 2016. Top grossing apps like Candy Crush Saga are making $1.4 million every day. Numbers like those are the reason why everyone is talking about the opportunity in mobile. It is a great time to be a mobile app developer. But there's something we don't like to talk about. If you want to make that kind of money, you need users. You need lots of users. So how does your app get noticed? Because there are over 2 million apps in the App Store worldwide. And that number will grow to 4 million and then 8 million in the next few years. Conventional wisdom says if you want to be in the top 10, if you want to be noticed, you need to be in the top 10. But getting into the top 10 means you need 50,000 installs of your app each day. And if you are paying for those installs, it could cost you as much as $4 a piece. That means you could be spending $200,000 every day just to get your app noticed. And those apps that are in the top 10, they're spending more than that to hold their position. Can you compete with that? Most developers can't. The only way to survive in the modern app ecosystem is to make your app social. If a user costs you that much to acquire, can't they bring their friends with them? The average Facebook user has 300 friends. That is 300 people that want to see what their friend is doing. So here's an example. If you have a friend who listens to music with Spotify, then you've probably seen a story like this. These stories inform you about what your friend is doing. And they're appealing to click on because they don't seem like ads and they're not spam. More generally, stories about interacting with an app are compelling if they're done right. They're definitely more compelling than seeing pictures of your friend's breakfast or reading their passive-aggressive rants about work. And for you, the developer, these stories are word-of-mouth advertising. Nothing is stronger than word-of-mouth advertising, except word-of-mouth advertising from a friend. We call it friend-to-friend advertising. Teak lets your app tell these stories about what your users are doing, and these stories tell their friends about your app. These are fun, credible, and socially validated stories that attract users and get you more money. And when stories resonate on social media, the audience multiplies. So what happened when Spotify started telling these kind of stories? They went from a little under 3.5 million users a day, to almost 4.5 million users in the first 3 days after rolling out this kind of sharing. Word of mouth is powerful, so everyone should want it in their app. But there's a lot going on behind the scenes. Sharing these stories is difficult. It's code, XML, servers, databases, and for marketing people, these are not friendly words. Instead, they're forced to go through a loop. The marketing person must communicate their vision to a developer. The developer implements it, and it goes out to the audience. If the developer thought to build analytics into their app, then they might be able to get some data to see how the story is responding. And if the marketing person is lucky, they might get to see how their content is performing. This is like a game of telephone. And as we all know from playing telephone, the message gets garbled. This is an example of what happens when the message gets garbled. Somewhere in that game of telephone, communication broke down. And so that is what got shared out to Facebook. And fixing this means playing that game of telephone again. The marketing person must submit a bug report. The developer has to attack that bug when he gets a chance, has to put it into the next build of the app, has to get approved by the App Store. Hopefully the user updates it, and then maybe the marketing person can see how their content is performing. This doesn't work. This is a broken workflow. Marketing people can't rely on developers or App Store approval to make content changes. They need to be able to see how their content is performing, and they need to be able to make changes without waiting. With just a few lines of code, Teak can be integrated into a project, and the developer can go focus on app development instead of the intricacies of social media. And while that developer is working on making the app better, marketing and user acquisition people can use our tools to create and refine social content in real time. They can get detailed metrics on how that content is performing so that they can iterate and refine it to see what works best for their audience. Teak creates a new loop where marketing can interact directly with their audience and get instant results. No games of telephone, no waiting on developers, and no waiting on App Store approval. Just instant results. We built Teak to be a real-time marketing platform. So let me show you what this looks like. In this example app, a user can buy a toy. So the marketing person goes in and uses Teak to create a new story about buying a toy. This is Harley. This is actually a creative from one of our customers. They can test that story to see exactly how it will look to their audience when it's seen on Facebook. Once they make the story live and users are buying Harley in the app, they can see how well this story attracts new users. You can see here this is getting a 2% click-through rate. They can then use our A/B testing tools to see if making a creative change improves the click-through rate. And again, true story, giving a shotgun to Harley in the picture improved the click-through rate by almost 50%. True. And so, empowered with easy-to-use tools, the marketing person gets to end the day a hero. And the development team, unburdened by marketing changes, had time to fix the thing that just broke. And the entire team gets to worry less in general. And that's good for everyone. This is just an example, though. Maybe in your app, people read books, watch movies, complete levels, capture flags. Teak works alongside your app to tell any story about what your users do. Getting started with Teak is easy. In just a few minutes, you can be trying and testing stories. We handle hosting the content, running the servers, and keeping up to date with breaking changes and best practices. You just pay us based on user count, and there's no upfront cost. Our first beta tester liked Teak so much that their CEO became an investor, and our first paying customer was able to reduce their marketing costs by 75% while increasing their revenue by 4x. That is a 12x increase in return on investment from using Teak to do social right. And that turned them into our first. Thank you. Needless to say, they like us. That turned them into our first product evangelist. All developers, though, can benefit from friend-to-friend advertising, and Teak works with any platform that can be connected to the internet. Desktop, mobile, a server. Under the right circumstances, we could make your watch post to Facebook. But we started by addressing the games vertical, because games make up 70% of App Store revenue. And we know the challenges that are faced by game developers. Because between myself and my two co-founders, Mark McCoy and Alex Scarborough, we have over 33 years of combined experience in the game industry. Together, we have shipped 15 titles, including 2 social games that were distributed across 4 different social networks. And our first hire, Kelly Heckman, did user acquisition for 7 social games, and before that, she spent 10 years in the game industry press. We've developed distribution partnerships with Corona Labs, the #1 2D game engine, and StackMob, the leading backend as a service for mobile apps. Through these partnerships, we are the recommended social tool for more than 250,000 developers worldwide, and there are more partnerships in the works. Friend-to-friend marketing isn't only working for our customers, it's also working for us. Our customers are recommending Teak to their developer friends. So far, we have made over 25 million posts to Facebook, and every 10 seconds, someone discovers a new app through Teak. If you work on an app development team, and it's part of your responsibility to get new users, we want to talk to you. We're at teak.io. Come and say hello. In today's app ecosystem, you can't afford to do social wrong. Teak is here to help you do it right. Thank you.